you guys know me by now. I've been talking to you guys the past couple days, but welcome to our short film package 3 Q&A. We have some awesome filmmakers. For those who just watched the film, they were fantastic, and we're super happy to have a pretty good group here, all the way from USMX. We have Troubled Times and a whole bunch more great filmmakers I'm going to bring on. I do apologize. We did have a little bit of a storm here in Philadelphia where I'm calling in from, so my internet was a little bit spotty the last Q&A. I'm hoping this is okay this time. If it's not, we'll figure it out tomorrow. But let's bring on some people. We're going to bring on Marcus Thomas. What's up, Marcus?
Hey, how you doing?
Let's bring on Lillian. Lillian, I'm having a really hard time pronouncing your last name. Is it
Granados.
Granados. Okay. Awesome. Sorry. I should have asked that beforehand. We got Joseph from USMX, and we got Penny and Melissa. Hello, guys. And we got Jared. So it's a pretty good group. Welcome, guys. I first want to go around and ask, your names, the role you guys had in your films, your film titles as well, for those who know how to put the faces together. I'm going to start with you, Jared. Jared, tell us your name, the role you had in the film, what your film was.
Hi, I'm Jared. My name is Jared. Wait,
Okay.
I was typing at the same time.
Oh.
Okay. Yes, my name is Jared, and I'm the director, writer of Troubled Times.
Awesome. And then Melissa.
Melissa Scarwell. I am the director and co-writer, co-producer of My Dinner with Schwartzy.
Awesome. And we'll go to Penny.
I am the co-writer and producer of My Dinner with Schwartzy, based on my short story that was published way before any of you were born.
Joseph, we got.
Hello, I'm Joseph Hooten. I am the writer and director of USMX.
Awesome. And Lillian.
Hi, I'm Liliana. I produced USMX with Joe.
Awesome. And then Marcus.
Yes, I'm Marcus Thomas. I co-wrote, co-produced, directed, and starred, I should say co-starred, along with Nicole Sterrett and The Divisible.
That's awesome. Well, guys, welcome. And first off, congratulations. All your films were fantastic. And I want to start off with actually really asking about, since most of you guys wrote your films as well, is sort of what inspired that story, and why did you guys feel like now would be a good time to tell that story? Marcus, I want to start with you because I've seen your film before. Mm-hmm. I saw it. I had an opportunity to see it in Vegas with Nicole and Sophia. So it was great to see it again. It's great to have it in this film festival. So honestly, what inspired that story? I think we all have an idea, but what inspired that story, and why did you decide to tell it?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, Nikki and I had worked together on another project, and we were looking for something to do together again. And at the time, we were kind of just of what was happening kind of socially and politically at the time with the election of Donald Trump, and how we felt like this polarization and this division kind of happening. And so I kind of went home that evening and I couldn't sleep. I had just had to get up and get this story out that was in here somehow from the zeitgeist, I guess, kind of just snatched it. But what ended up coming out was something that we wanted to put together that would fuel apathetic voters to get out and vote in this next election cycle happening in less than 2 months away. So we were just trying to get people more motivated to vote so that we don't continue to see this kind of separation and division get worse.
Yeah, it's I mean, your story is it's frustrating, of course, as I'm sure many people probably relate to, because I mean. Yeah. I hope someday you don't have to write, based on a true story on that, because that sort of be a concern. So Penny and Melissa, absolutely loved your film. The tone and the feel of that is incredible, and the cinematography is amazing. But I'm more curious about the story. Why did you guys decide to tell the story? Penny, you alluded that it was something you wrote a little bit ago. So tell us a little bit more how this came to fruition.
Sure. So I wrote this, I think, 1989. I was very much into the punk rock scene in downtown New York City. went to clubs like Max's Kansas City, saw Lou Reed, who did a cameo if anyone caught him, or a Lou Reed lookalike in the film. And I remember seeing a kind of a young girl, teenage girl with a much older man at one of these clubs. And I wrote a short story about it called My Dinner with Schwartzy that was published. And what's interesting about the story that was published in the 80s, she stays with Schwartzy. She doesn't leave.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Then Dixon Place, which is the theater I'm affiliated with because I'm mainly a playwright, asked me to dramatize some of my short stories. And I asked Melissa Skirball to direct it. And we directed My Dinner with Schwartzy. And then the Harvey Weinstein story broke. And Melissa said to me, you know, I've always wanted to make a short film with you. This is our moment. Let's do this.
Wow.
Story. And I didn't know how to write a screenplay. I was terrified of writing a screenplay. And Melissa was my collaborator and my mentor. And in terms of the camera and the whole feel of the film, I'm going to give it to Melissa because that's really her baby.
Yeah.
And as far as the story goes, I think that the big thing about taking her short story, which is a memory piece of Fiona years later talking about a night in her past, and like Penny said, stayed with him, was making it very just that night, that moment through her point of view. And so we kind of just honed in on, all right, if you're a 16-year-old who's hanging out with really cool people,
Yeah.
you know, like as adults, we can talk about how wrong Schwartzy is, or the people around him who are basically allowing this to happen with a wink and a nudge.
Yeah.
But from her point of view, you know, I get to be hanging out with rock stars and models, and it's, you know, so that's why it is the way it is.
That's awesome. Yeah, I thought the cinematography of that whole film was beautiful, and it just sucks you right into it. It has this whole unique feel to it, which I think a lot of my judges just loved. They were just drawn to it, which is great. So Joseph and Liliana, tell us about your story, because I mean it's such an impactful story, and it starts pretty right in the middle of things, and based off of really probably a true story of this. So I'm just curious, why tell the story now? What inspired the story? Tell us more.
Yeah, as Liliana knows all too well, it took us multiple years to make this movie.
Oh, wow.
As far as like the inspiration for the story goes, it we started kind of developing it back in 2016 when Trump got elected, and there was a lot going on politically. Initially, there was the Muslim ban, and then shortly after that, kids were in cages, and things just continued to get less and less humane at the border. And I think this was very much so a reaction to that. And the idea was, by turning it on its head, taking the situation, turning it on its head, hopefully we can create empathy in people when we watch it. And also on top of that too, at its heart, it's a story about a mother willing to sacrifice everything for her daughter, and that completely, describes my mom. Like I have such a personal connection with her, and she has not had an easy life at all, and totally sacrificed everything for me. So that was kind of my personal way in. But again, we did a lot of research for the project and pulled from lots of different sources, but the whole idea of taking the situation, turning it on its head, we felt that worked better in like a grounded, not too distant future sci-fi version of the film, which is why we kind of went that route. But yeah, that's a little bit about how it started.
That's awesome. So Liliana, as a producer, what intrigued you about the story? Did you know about the story before deciding to be a producer, or was something that you read and you're like, I have to do it?
Yeah, Joe came to me, and for me it was exciting as a Mexican-American person myself to see a story that really was a human story and that didn't rely on tropes or stereotypes. So it was important for me to be a part of that voice and also bring it to life and elevate it in every way possible. I think we were really scrapping with any and all resources that we had, and it was definitely very demanding, and just making sure that it happened, and it happened in an elevated way that, we probably never imagined it would happen.
Yeah, that's incredible. It looks fantastic. I just love like all the night shots just look awesome in it, and it just like it really kind of gives you a little bit of mystery to it, which I thought was fantastic. So thank you so much for letting us screen your film. But Jared, obviously I've probably asked you this question many times, but you shot your film in Ireland, which is incredible. We talked about Ireland many times, but tell us about the story. Why tell the story? Why? What inspired you to do it?
Personally, I just started traveling to Ireland quite a bit, and I just started learning about their history, and I wanted to do something that was outside of what would be expected of me. I can be honest and say that it was a very long road to get there, because I was talking about this project for like 2 years. Like, I had the script, and then I was updating the script, and then everybody was like, all my friends knew about it, or all my coworkers knew about it, and everybody was like, really, you want to make a project in Ireland? I was like, yeah, I make a project in Ireland. And,
they drink Guinness for breakfast. Why not?
And finally, I got a little lucky, and I got the financing that I needed, or that I was holding out for. And so, but it was still a hard road. I went over to Ireland on my own, did a lot of interviews. I interviewed about 60 people that lived during that time.
Wow.
Just to make sure that because I didn't want to be an American that was telling this story. It's based on true events. Like, these things really happened in Ireland. And I didn't want to be the outsider, the American that comes over, takes a story and, doesn't do it justice. So, there's a lot of people that take these things very to heart still, even though the last serious bombing was back in the 90s, in Ireland. But I wanted to make sure that what I was tackling for myself and for others was authentic. So I did a lot of research about it, and I tried to make sure that I hired the right people. I worked with an all-Irish crew. I'd never worked with any of these people before, besides the makeup artists that came from America. So it was a very daunting task, and got very lucky that I was able to pull it off.
That's awesome, man. What an incredible undertaking, man. That's absolutely unbelievable. So I have a question about your cast picks. I'm going to start with Melissa and Penny on this one. And then Marcus, I'm really curious about what drove you, that decision for you to play that yourself. But Penny, what was the casting process like for this? Because it's a lot of extras, and you have pretty great cast. So do you guys go through a casting agent? Did you guys go through, how did you guys find those people? Because they were incredible.
A few of them were at the original table read. Jimmy, who played Schwartzy, Janine, who played the ex-girlfriend. We knew, from the minute we started talking about doing it, I'm like, I have the perfect Schwartzy. I don't think Penny had met him before. And we both had worked with Janine before, and immediately we're like, Janine is Dorothy. And then Demetrius, Jane's husband, I had seen in a play that a mutual friend of ours had directed, and I was like, I just saw the perfect guy for Jane's husband, brought him in. And then we had some casting calls, and a lot of the people that we brought in, we posted on Breakdowns, and then I posted on Facebook to my various friends and groups. And I would say almost everybody that we ended up casting, we either had worked with before or had been personally referred to us. Even though we saw plenty of people just from cold submissions.
Wow.
But, there definitely was the people that were kind of referred in were the ones that blew us away.
That's good referrals.
Yeah, no, we've both been working in theater in New York for ages, so we know a ton of actors. A lot of the extras or the small roles were people that we'd worked with before that we like working with, and so wanted to bring them in. And I think the hardest part was extras, wasn't it, Penny?
Extra, because they had to show up at 4 a.m.
And we weren't paying. You know, it was all deferred pay. So.
And
That's
I think,
wow.
and the women, I remember a lot of women said to us, well, am I going to get makeup at 4 a.m.? And we were like, well, we can't really afford to have you have makeup at 4 a.m. And they didn't show up. So,
Show up there and makeup ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent, right? It's like, no, you're not a character. They're barely gonna see your face. Come on, give me a break.
So,
and also, I was saying that we were supposed to have a David Bowie in the film, and
He got stuck in Florida.
He got stuck in Florida. So luckily, my friend, who's also a filmmaker, named Sammy, looked a little bit like Lou Reed. I don't know if anyone got that he was supposed to be Lou Reed, and he showed up at 4 a.m. He was great.
wow, that's incredible. Those are committed people. I don't even like getting up at 4 a.m. when I'm, directing something. I just like, I'm good.
Zoe sang that song that you heard at 5 a.m, Melissa?
Oh,
Well, I think like crew call was 4 a.m. Probably cast call was 5. So between 5 and 6, yeah.
wow, that's early.
Yeah.
It's a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
So, Marcus, I want to know, right? Obviously, you
Sure.
Directed a great film, but also you play a fantastic character. Your acting is amazing. Was that like a decision you made while you were writing it, or was it something later on you were like, I should play this part?
Yes, it was made in the beginning. Nikki and I, as I was saying, we had done a web series together. It was a comedy, funny enough, and we were looking for an opportunity to work together again. And the story just kind of took a different path than we had even intended. And so, yes, it was always planned that I would star opposite her for this project. And then the other cast members kind of fell into place from people that we've known from various projects that we worked with. Some of our crew members actually knew some people that we ended up casting. Tyler, the one who played our son, he was actually from a casting call that we didn't find someone in. But he ended up submitting his stuff to us outside of the casting call.
Gotcha.
And we ended up taking him on, and we were so glad that we did. He was phenomenal, for one, and he's just been starting to take off outside of our project, and we're super proud of him. And actually, there was one instance we ended up having to recast Kira, who was our coyote, the day of the shoot, within a few hours of needing her to be on set. Because the person who we actually had cast had emergency in the family, and she couldn't come. So we literally had to find someone immediately, and it was our first AD that came through for us. Finding her, and she is phenomenal, Katie O'Brien, and she's at this point starting to kind of get more recognizable because she's been on Black Lightning as a recurring character, and she just was on Westworld this past season.
That's amazing.
We were very fortunate in the fact that people had connections with other actors and stuff that they knew too.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So this question is for everybody. I want you guys to think about fantastic films. Cinematography is great. Action is great. The stories are so amazing. You guys all should be really proud. But I want to know, what's the one thing you guys are most proud about with these projects? And we'll start with Joseph and Liliana next.
Yeah, I mean, like Liliana was kind of hinting at, we did not have anywhere near the resources we needed to make a movie like this in the desert at night with a minor. And I'm so proud that we didn't have money to pay people. We had over 60 people involved in the shoot weekend. They were all volunteers. And I'm just proud that we pulled it off. It was not easy. Freezing temperatures. Like, the fact that we even have footage that you can see things in was a huge accomplishment. And on top of that, to make a movie that I think we're all proud of and feel is important. I think I'm just really proud of the team and feel so blessed that everybody supported us and with us through it all, because it was a lot, right?
Liliana, you want to add on to that?
Yeah, no, I mean, the universe really tested us. We were planning for a summer shoot, and we had some emergencies, and we unfortunately and fortunately, you know, everything worked out, but we had a push, and it was a very scary moment of working up to a certain date and then not having that date happen, and still having to push through and find a way of still making it happen 2 months later. So we went through some big hurdles, and yeah, I mean, Joe and I talk about it's one of the hardest productions that we've done, but we feel sort of bulletproof after this. We're ready for 5 features in a year or something.
Wow.
We're ready for COVID filming.
hopefully not. But so, Jared, what are you most proud about?
Probably the dance scene.
Oh, okay. Why that one?
Because everything else you can do, but if the dance doesn't work, it comes so early in the film. It's just like between the actors and everything. It was the only thing on paper that was like scary to do because I've never done a dance scene before directing. So, but also probably just completing the film. I'm not thinking being in another country. There was no producer there with me. I was the only person there. I had to go over there on my own, put everything together in a month and 3 weeks, and so just completing it because it was definitely a hard process, but it was so much worth it. It was so worth it. It's the most creatively freeing project thing I've ever done. So
Good. Wow. Yeah, that's incredible, man. I mean, I love Ireland. I've been there many times, but for you to shoot a film there, that's amazing. And it looks great, and for you to do it by yourself is an undertaking, man. So you should be proud. But Melissa and Penny, what are you guys most proud about with this film?
Penny, go first.
Made. I never ever thought we could do this, and I remember saying, and also that it was accepted in so many film festivals. I remember saying to Melissa, "Oh, it's not going to get into any film festivals. It's so competitive out there." And now we're up to what, 33?
Wow! Oh, man. Congratulations.
35.
And I remember it's 35. I remember saying to Melissa, "Oh, come on, it's so competitive. No one's going to take Schwartzy." So I am very new to filmmaking. I am, I'm a novelist. I'm a playwright. So I just thought, oh, it's just, no one's going to look at this film. It's just too tough out there. So I am proud that we have won awards. Melissa was named Filmmaker of the Year in Sweden, and just so many accolades. And I never in a million years expected to have such success. And I'm thrilled beyond belief.
That's amazing. That's what a great story. Melissa, what do you?
I knew we'd get into some festivals. I mean, every film finds some festivals. I think just that, like one of somebody that I had asked to produce it, who ended up not being able to because of time and health issues. When he saw it, he's like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry I wasn't on this project." He's like, "When I read it, I had no idea this is what you were going to make." Wow. And like that kind of thing, because I knew in my head what I wanted it to look like, and it looks like that. And just the way the music and everything ended up being such a part of it. That's one thing, we've never actually talked about it in any of these Q&As, I don't think. The 2 songs that Zoe sings,
yeah.
I put those in there because in Penny's original short story, there was this beautiful descriptive language that didn't fit into a film script, like into the dialogue of them talking about the laughter like ice and, all of that kind of poetic crap. And when we decided to make him this record producer and the young girl, somebody who wanted this big break, I'm like, let's have this fantasy song. And that was a way to bring in Penny's poetry, basically, into this film that was not a poem.
Okay.
That was a real, I think, and it ended up, especially the one in the car, everybody thought I was crazy. And I'm like, no, trust me.
Trust your gut.
Yeah.
Oh,
and we also, Melissa and I wrote the song lyrics. I've never written song lyrics in my life. So I think I'm very proud of that we are.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Lyricists.
Yeah, film and music jumped right into that. That's awesome. Marcus, what are you most proud about with this film?
I'd say as a first-time filmmaker, just really being able to take this kind of concept from page to screen and having such a tremendous cast and crew. I mean, we had a cast of 27. We had a crew of 27.
Wow.
And everyone that was on set showed up and gave 110% and never, ever complained, even when we were in 23-degree weather our first day. Everyone really showed up and did everything they could in order to make this thing possible. I am so grateful for everyone that made this happen, including our contributors from Seed and Spark. We had over 435 contributors that wanted to see this film come to fruition, and I am so grateful.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think I realized this was your first film. I feel like I may have learned that in Vegas when I met your team, but that's unbelievable, man. It does not look like. I wish my first short film that I ever did was happening. That's incredible, that being your first film. And I mean, Penny, same for you, first time jumping into the film world and the music world. It's incredible, and all you guys should be really proud of this work. I do have one last question before I'll let you guys go. Where can we keep up to date? I believe filmmakers, and more than anything right now, need to stick together and then have each other and have each other's backs and just stay that creativity, especially in today's age. But where can we find you guys? Where can we follow you guys on Instagram? Do you have social media, website? Where can we find all your future projects? And we'll start with Joseph and Liliana on this one.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at joe.hooten. And we'll have a website for the film upcoming soon. It got a little bit delayed, but yeah. And Lily?
Oh, that was clever. I see what you did there. That was
Yeah. Instagram is probably the best place as well as a millennial. So I'm at Liliana Granat too. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what everyone else is up to as well.
Awesome, great. Jared, where can we find you?
I always run into this because I'm like my Instagram is so
It's like Batman, right? Or Blink or something, or Bat.
It's Bat Link, but it's definitely not professional. But
Oh, I just totally blow your spot. Sorry.
No. It's fine. You know, if you're going on my Instagram page, you're seeing me as a person and not just me as a filmmaker. If that makes sense. So,
Okay.
yeah. No, there's nothing wrong. So it's definitely a Bat Link. But or otherwise, if anyone wants, they could probably get my email and my Vimeo account. So that's where I keep everything. My Vimeo.
I said your Venmo account. I was like, what? Okay.
Hit me up, Jared. We'll get you squared away.
Marcus, where can we find you? Where can we stay up to date with all your stuff?
Yes, so we are at thedivisible.com, and then we are The Divisible. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Awesome.
And we started an independent film production company called Jubilee Productions.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Thank you. So yeah, you can find us at jubileeprod.com as well.
Awesome, great.
PROD.
Penny and Melissa, where can we find you guys? I definitely want to keep up to date with your work.
So we have Facebook and Twitter for My Dinner with Schwartzy set up, as well as I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, so is Penny, and I'm on Instagram as Melissa Life Dreams or Mel Direct Her Film, something like that. And then we have Facebook and Twitter set up for our next short, which is Greetings from Sarajevo. But if you go on Facebook, all of the links are there. If that's probably the place where it's easiest.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a website for Schwartzy. We both have personal websites.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm not such an Instagram. I'm trying with Instagram. Maybe I'm too old, but my daughter's much better. So if you want to find me on Facebook, Penny Jackson. I also have my Penny Jackson Writes because I have poetry and short stories, and you can see all that about me. We have on Facebook a lot of information about My Dinner with Schwartzy. There's also mydinnerwithschwartzy.com. And look out for our next film, Greetings from Sarajevo. And I so want to go to Fort Myers with this. Okay.
We submitted already.
Oh, did you? Oh, perfect. So it's
Yeah,
already
yeah.
my stage 1 judging team. That's fantastic. Well, guys, listen, I really want to thank you guys for taking the time out. I know it's late where some of you guys are, but thank you guys so much. We absolutely loved your films, and I think, you know, right now I'm so happy that you guys have other projects coming up and you're starting production companies, which I think, like, at the end of the day right now, no matter what the world is in, creativity will always find its way, and you guys are living proof that it's finding its way. So seriously, guys, thank you so much. We'll please stay in touch, okay?
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Really wonderful
Thank you,
work.
everyone.
Great work. Great work.
Oh, I just totally cut her off. She's complimenting me. Oh, shoot. Oh, bummer. I'm sorry about that. I cut you guys. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That was fantastic. A great group of filmmakers. But there's still plenty of festival left. We have 2 more days tomorrow, starting off with our short filmmaker workshop panel, which actually Melissa is going to be on, which is awesome. So guys, please stay in touch. See you at the movies. Right now, like I said, creativity needs to find its way, and I think it has. So see you guys then. Bye-bye.